Good morning, everybody. It is December the 6th, 2020. A beautiful sunshiny day out today, and there's not a breeze blowing. So today's looking good. So what are we going to do today? We're going to start getting some measurements on the Culti-Packer. Like I said in the last video, we got to get it done. Good morning again, everybody. What I'm doing is I am going to measure what I need for some new bolts to put all this beam back in here for the drawbar. And I think the easiest would be to roll this up. As you can see, the whole end of this is missing. The whole end of the drawbar is gone. So we've got to replace two bolts, one here and one down to bottom and one here. So what I got to do is measure the lengths I need and the diameters. That's a 3/8. Yep, looks like 3/8 inch all the way around. Because of the I-beam shape of the cross braces, they used a square-headed bolt because it fits in between the I-beam channel, and that keeps the bolt head from turning. And the other side on this one has a square nut, and we're going to try to reuse all of those as possible. However, the bolts are pretty well shot. Let me get you this one. You can see it. Yeah, it's about halfway corroded all the way through. So that's a 3/8 carriage bolt there that goes in from the bottom, and there is another one up in there. I don't know if you can see them. There's the bottom one a little bit better, but yeah. So these get carriage bolts, the round-headed jobs. And because we know a standard 4x4 wooden post these days is about 3.5, 3 3/4 of an inch, I can use a 4 or 4.5 inch carriage bolt to put all this together with, and we'll be just fine with that length as long as it's a 3/8 diameter bolt. I consider it lucky that we at least have the drawbar that was on the end of that wooden 4x4. This is bent, as you can see. It's been twisted over the years, but yeah, we can heat that up, put it on the anvil with a big old hammer, and mash everything down flat again. But I'm going to need a couple of bolts, nuts, and washers to bolt all that together again. So we got a little bit of work to do on that one. Plus, this has got a kink kind of this way a little bit right here. As you can kind of see it, it's a little bit twisted. So we'll have to throw that in the stove in the shop, get it a little bit warm, and beat that back into shape as well. first thing we're going to remove is the bolt that holds on the two braces on there to keep that thing in alignment. And what do you know? That comes apart. So I can reuse that old square-headed bolt over again, along with the square-headed nut right there. Yeah, so that was a good call right there. We'll make that happen. And of course, that is a farmer's hammer. Now that old square-headed bolt's a little on the rusty side, but I think we can straighten it out and clean up those threads and clean up the whole thing and reuse it. And that is it for the rest of that post. So I just twisted it and it just broke right clean off the rest of them bolts. So now we got some firewood. Yeah. I was originally going to put miter cuts on the side and the top of the post for the drawbar for the Culti-Packer, but I think what I will do, just for the expediency of time, is I'm going to use a sanding wheel on here and just kind of round the corners over a little bit and call it good, because I don't think this was anything really probably too fancy when it left the factory. So we'll just sand it down a little bit, make it look nice, not leave a sharp jagged edge, and then we'll punch some holes in it after we cut it to the length I want and get it mounted. Okay, there we go. The corners are kind of rounded over a little bit, so it looks a little nicer. Yeah, now we're going to drill a few holes. I've got my Chinese measuring tape out again here. See if I can tell the difference today between 3/4 and half, or 3/8 and ½ inch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8.5 inches. Yeah, 8.5 inches between the holes. So yeah, I think we're gonna measure that and drill some holes right quick. All right, I want to be about 2 inches from the end here. In fact, I may go 2.5, just to give the wood some material behind it here, so that it won't split so badly. Okay, so we're going 2.5. How wide did I say that was? 8.5? Yep, 8.5 between the holes, so we are nine inches on center. Yep, 9 inches on center. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, let's see, where are we at? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So right there. Yeah, high tech for doing this today. Chinese tape measures, no ink pens, and we're not using the drill press to make sure that the holes are perfectly straight up and down. But we can always wallow them out a little bit if we need to. Okay, here we go. Wish me luck. Oh, what's with that drill bit? It's bent. Imagine that. I'm gonna have to go get another drill bit. All right, let's try this again here. Just double check the measurements. 9 inches. Yeah, that was one of those drill bits that I wasn't using, so it was fair game and been bent and just abused. So we're gonna try one of these old coal bolts here. A little bit more. Helps I get the chuck tight. Hang on a second. course, I can't tighten that up because somebody's decided they need the key. So, yeah, that's as tight as I'm going to get it. Wish me luck. Well, that was an adventure. Now let's do this rear hole here. Slide this over a bit more. There we go. Yep. I can probably pretty well tell you that drill bit ain't the sharpest bit in the deal either. It probably couldn't cut warm butter either. Okay, here we go. I can tell every time I hit one of those growth rings, and that's when it stops, and you can probably hear it loading up on the machine too. That's horse pecky. Yeah, my shop's going to be off limits from now on. I can't keep operating this way and try to have a farm running. Okay, back to the drawing board. All right, what the game plan is to get this thing mounted and test fit and check it for length, and then remove this piece of wood. And the reason why I want to remove it is because I want to put it inside where it's warm so I can coat it with linseed oil to help protect it and preserve it. So, and I can't do that outside where it's cold. So what we're going to do here is just put the bolts through it long enough to get the length, and then we can cut it however long I need it to be. And yeah, I can see it, it's just not coming through. That's okay. I'm going to put a nut on that one, and then I'll get the other one up in there, and then we'll see how long we need to go on the drawbar. Now, because this drawbar was built in 1918, I have decided to use period correct fasteners. So not only do we have the carriage bolt underneath, which the underside of the head fits in those little square holes punched into the angle iron, I have also purchased some square nuts to put on here. I don't know if I'm going to need those lock washers or not, but it probably won't hurt to have them. So anyway, there's that one. Now, some people have quite the discussion on whether or not the beveled flat-faced side goes up or down. Well, I'm putting it down right now on those square nuts because that looks like it's going to be a little more surface contact, maybe, or I don't know, maybe not. I'll flip it over. I'd like to get some surface contact on that lock washer because I need the tension there to keep the nut from coming undone, and because this wood is going to expand and shrink with moisture being outside all the time. So, yeah. Maybe I'll use those lock washers or not. I don't know yet. Anyway, that's what it's going to end up looking like when it's all said and done. Yep. Now I can just get the bolt back in it. I often get told that I get a little bit anal when it comes to restoring things or putting them back to a correct type situation. Case in point, I'm using brand new square nuts on here. Could have used regular hex head nuts and whatnot, but you know, I want it to look right, and it is a 1918 Culti-Packer, at least because of the date on the end of it. And you can see the date maybe right here in this photo. That date is here on the end of the castings for the axle shafts. So let me make sure that's up under there. It's not where it's supposed to be, but that's kind of what I was figuring. So loosen that up, tap it a bit. There, get that tension off. Off of there, and maybe that bolt will turn and get up in there where it's supposed to be. Yep, there it goes. Okay. Yep. Okay, that bolt has seated up in there in its little square hole, so that's where it ought to be. That's on. Now for this one. Like I said, I will be removing this again. So we aren't going to finish it today, but at least it'll have the drawbar ready to go. And like I said, I will be putting some linseed oil on this winter, and then we'll remount it. I was going to paint it, but I think, yeah, I don't know, I might paint it. It's kind of an apple green color, so I may paint it, or I may just linseed oil it. Okay, well that's mounted. We'll flip it up on its end here and figure out where the holes go for these cross braces. As you can see right in here, that cross brace is bent and they don't line up here. So I think what I will do is try to straighten those first and then drill the hole in the 4x4, because yeah, this one is probably about the closest. So maybe we'll just go ahead and drill it. Okay, the bolt's in. Now to get it figured out as to what length I need. This piece of course isn't in until I get it heated up and straightened out, and then it'll line up and we can put it all together. Well, the shadows are starting to get long and the breeze is starting to come up. So I think what we'll do is we're going to cut this right here at 5'9", and that will allow that extra couple inches for the drawbar on there in the pin. That'll make it about 6 foot even. So yeah, I think we're going to cut it right about here. I said about right there, didn't I? It will go right there. It helps if I speed it up a little bit. Which way am I going? Oh, wrong way. There we go. Yeah, something kind of like that. Might take my grinder and do the same thing on that I did on the other end too. Yeah. In fact, I think I'll do that. I haven't straightened out the angles on the upper plate yet for the drawbar assembly, but I am going to try to get these nuts apart here. And I think they're both coming off at the same time. Is why the noise. Anyway, I should be able to reuse those and the bolt. What's sad is I have a can of penetrating oil sitting there, but the top broke out of it, so I can't. There's one nut. So I can't lube any of that up. There we go. Got to put it on there the right way around or somebody will be hollering. Oops. Yep, grab that. It's called Butterfingers. What I can and I'm going to do though, even though I haven't got this angle on this thing straightened out as yet, I am going to line these up very carefully, or one of them anyway, set it on there, mark the holes that I need to drill, and then drill the silly thing for the bolts for this hitch, and then I can always straighten this out later. The hitch may actually get sandblasted and powder coated when I'm done with it. We'll just have to wait and see. I may not get that crazy with it. Okay, let's trade that bolt. And here's a little bit of something fun. They drilled two different holes there. So got two different sized critters holding this thing together. So in this one, it may not come apart as easy as that other one. It may break. But we're gonna see if we can't get it done. Pardon the lighting, I am running short of light today. It's getting late in the afternoon. It's pushing 4 o'clock. Oh, no, that castle nut's can come off there too. So those aren't too terribly rusted on. Now why they had a castellated nut on there and no pin in it is beyond me. Haven't got a clue. Pardon my hand, it's in the way, I know. Anyway, there, that is a part. Along with that and this. Now this piece is obviously homemade. You can see where it's had other holes drilled in it. It's worn here and there. I may angle this a little bit to match this somewhat, but I think this piece we're going to go ahead and reuse. Along with this piece here, it's not too terribly worn out. It is just tweaked right here, but I think I can beat that back with a hammer here in the anvil or on the vise. But anyway, I'm going to use these two holes to mark out on here, and then we're going to drill them. Okay, I've got the drill set up here so I can drill the holes. Now, the reason why I'm drilling these two holes for this on my drill press is because the hole has to be exactly perfect all the way through, because we have two mating surfaces. We have this upper and we have this lower that's got to go on the bottom. So the hole's got to line up perfectly. So I've got a 1/2 inch chuck in there, or bit in the chuck, and we'll mark the holes here right quick. We'll just eyeball this thing, and we'll take a long drill bit I have and carefully mark what appears to be the center. Twist it a little bit. There we go. And there's the holes where we need to drill them. And yeah, we'll proceed from there. Now, this drill bit is too short to go all the way down to the bottom of the deck. So it won't punch a hole all the way through the 4x4. So what I'm going to have to do is drill pilot holes with that first, and then go back, put the bit back in the hole, and raise the deck up to drill all the way through. So this is going to be a two-step process to do this. Actually, it is not that the drill bit is too short. It is the throw or the amount the spindle on the drill press will drop. The drill bit is long enough, it's just that the throw is too short. It's only like 2.5 inches, and I got to go through 3.5 inches of wood. So that extra ½ inch would have made a heck of a lot of difference. Eventually, we're going to upgrade that little benchtop model to a floor-mounted press with a longer throw. But for now, this will work just fine. Okay, here we go. We're drilling the hole. We're down as far as we can get with that. Yep, we're down as far as we're going to go with that one. So now we'll slide this over to the next spot. And right there. Okay, now here's the deal where we can't go all the way through. So we got to put the drill bit up in there. So let me turn it back on again. And I will lift the board up. We will loosen the deck back here and raise this up to give us a firm work surface, about like so. Tighten it back down and turn it on, and here we go. Clean through the board. Yep, just like that. So now, to get this undone, got to loosen that back here again. Lower the plate. Turn this back on, and the board drops out. Now we're going to do the same thing all over again for this hole. Get it up in there. Oop. Can't do it one-handed. And we'll shut that off. Raise that. Tighten it up. Turn it back on. Out the bottom. Okay. Lower the plate back down, and this should drop off. The plate doesn't get run up and down very often, so it takes a little bit of finagling to make it happen. Okay. Oh boy, those blew out the bottom. Well, it's a good thing those are underneath. That big plate on the bottom will hide it. We'll just kind of clean it up a little bit on this end by hand using the press. There we go. Okay. There's just some holes. Yeah, something like that. Well, there it is, folks. It is all put together for its test run out into the field, busting up clods. Did not straighten out the hitch pin deal there for the end of the drawbar as yet. It still has a kink in it that you can see very plainly right there. That will straighten out later. I was going to clean that up and paint it, and I thought, you know, why? It wouldn't match the rest of the machine then. So yeah, we got it all put together just temporarily to give it a test whirl, and we're going to hook it on the back end of that blade there that's attached to Stinky for the snow, and we're going to go make something happen. A Culti-Packer is a machine designed to pack and firm the soil around seeds that have been planted. That way you have an excellent seed to dirt contact. Apply a little bit of water and seeds will grow. And it's just a deal to improve the ground soil contact. Break up clods, that sort of thing. What I was just doing out in the field wasn't really representative of what that device does. I just wanted to test the drawbar to see if it would work the way it's configured. And it does. I will this winter, now that I've got it all, the metal off of the wood 4x4, straighten out that top piece of steel that makes up the hitch and kind of get that more in line where it needs to be. And the beam is already down in the basement next to the furnace, keeping warm with a coat of linseed oil on it. So we'll let that soak in and cure for a week or so, and we'll hit it again with another coat, or 2 or 3. We'll see what it needs. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this week's video. Don't forget, right down there, yeah, right over there, that little, yeah, right there, that little red thing that says subscribe on it. Click on that. That way you can get some sort of a notification every time there's a new video out, or you could also click on the little bell next to it and click on the word all. So that'll let you know every time there is one out. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Leave a comment in the comment section. And don't forget to tell all your friends and family about our little videos that I do here for the farm and things going on the farm. We do try to use vintage equipment, so as much as possible within reason. So if you like that sort of thing, want to see what I'm doing on the homestead, check out our video. Check out our Facebook group. Check out the Facebook page if you're interested in the produce and whatnot that we will be starting to create and grow for sale here in 2021. Anyway, I'm Farmer Dave. We'll catch up with you later.